So the first surprise of this draft, your best guess is going to be what, Tom?
I think that whatever the Giants do at 3 is going to surprise some people, because
even if it's Abdul Carter,
it's the number one asked question still within the league right now. I mean, Cam Ward is the presumptive number 1 pick and has been for a couple of months to the Titans. I would be surprised. Nothing shocks me, but I'd be really surprised if the Browns move out of 2 or if they don't take Travis Hunter. Then the Giants come on the clock at number 3, and nobody's 100% certain what they're going to do, because Brian Daboll referenced it the other day. You know, you're in high-level conversations with people throughout the, what do you call it, the executive football leadership structure, which is a really long way of saying the owners are now in the conversations as well. John Mara has never been known as somebody, or Steve Tisch, to, you know, put their thumb on the scale and override decisions. But these are big organizational choices, especially when you're sitting there going, okay, are we really, after all the work we put on these quarterbacks, are we really not going to make one of these guys a Giant at number 3?
At number 3. So then give me the pick that would cause all heck to break loose with trades everywhere. Because right now, we are on the verge of having the first draft since 2014 in which not a single first-round draft choice is traded between the new league year and the draft night. We're on the verge of that, and I bet you we're going to hit that. I don't see a trade happening before the draft tomorrow night involving a first-round pick. Unless
It'd be surprising, because one's not moving. 2 would be the only one that potentially could move. But again, I don't get any sense that the Browns are going to do that. So you're not going to make that trade in advance.
So then what would be, because again, Ryan Poles said he thinks it's going to be wild. He's drafting 10th overall. Name me the selection that would set off phones everywhere to start a trade-a-palooza in the middle of the top of the first round last night.
It would be, for instance, if one of the wide receivers goes really high. You just had Matthew Golden sitting in the seat a short time ago. Let's say he comes off the board in the top 10, even before we get to Dallas's pick. Let's say Tet McMillan goes 5 to the Jaguars. There are so few receivers. There's really not those. Usually you have a few of those guys who, like, top half of the first round, they're going to go. There's nobody who's a sure bet to go. But it's so thin at the top in terms of that group that could all of a sudden make all those teams in the 20s that all need a receiver start to go, we got to go up and get our guy, or we're going to get completely shut out of this thing in terms of finding a difference maker. You know, 5, I think, is a really interesting slot in this draft, too, because everybody in the world seems to think, or has thought, all the mock drafts, Ashton Genty to the Raiders. There's a bunch of teams that really like Ashton Genty. He visited the Bears, who have the 10th pick. He visited the Cowboys, who have the 12th pick. Does somebody decide they want to trade up ahead of the Raiders? And I'm not convinced that Ashton Genty is necessarily the Raiders guy, but he's one of one in terms of the talent level and the difference maker that he can be. As Brian Baldinger said on the Insiders recently, that's the one guy who I think is going to put on a gold jacket. I feel the most confident about.
Genty.
That's how good Ashton Genty is. There's somebody that really needs a back, Dallas, Chicago, just say, you know what, we're not even going to take the risk. Let's go up and get him.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.